Coming up, Imagineers have just been spotted riding the Disney Skyliner Gondolas. We talk the latest transportation changes with the new Disney character buses, and do Disney's extensive monorail refurbishments spell bad things for our chances of getting new monorails announced at the D23 Expo? My name is Braden, and welcome to Mickey Views News.
All who come to this happy place, welcome.
Now I'm the king of the swingers.
Our largest expansion ever. We're not just building one of these, we're building two.
First up in Walt Disney World today, for a while I think we've all been wondering, we've seen those gondolas being tested running at full speed on the Disney Skyliner system, so when are we going to see actual people testing the gondola cars, riding them around? Well, it appears that time is now, as this week Blog Mickey captured video of Walt Disney Imagineers boarding a Skyliner gondola cabin at the Hollywood Studios station, popping open those glass vents that serve as the passive cooling to let air in on the cars, and heading off on the line, where you can see there are now officially people riding the Disney Skyliner gondolas at Walt Disney World. Here you can see the Disney Skyliner cast member doing a final check before the Imagineers headed out from the Hollywood Studios station, bound for the Caribbean Beach station, which is sort of like the TTC hub for the whole system. It's actually where all the cabins are kept when they're not in use. That's where the Imagineers unwrapped the gondolas earlier this summer. Speaking of that station, Blog Mickey got some great new photos of the progress on the central hub, the Caribbean Beach station for the Skyliner system. It's from this station you'll switch between the Hollywood Studios line, the Pop Century Art of Animation line, and the Epcot line. And as you can see, there is definitely still work happening here before the system will be show ready, as Walt would say. Realistically though, to me, it just looks like they have some landscaping to do and removing some construction equipment. So really, this station is even closer to complete than I think it even looks. Last week, there were mutterings of Disney perhaps trying to get the system ready and open in time for the Galaxy's Edge opening, which would have been a great help to Disney as far as crowds go if Epcot with the Food and Wine Festival kickoff was just one 10-minute gondola ride away from all of those crazy Galaxy's Edge crowds over in Hollywood Studios. It would have definitely alleviated some crowds, but alas, that rumor turned out to be false and not the case, as Disney later in the week officially announced the system will open to the public September 29th, 2019, exactly 1 month after the opening of Galaxy's Edge. And I actually think Disney is doing the right thing here, because first of all, construction crews are going to be done with this system by the end of August. This system is going to be complete by the end of this month, barring any landscaping type stuff that still might be happening. The situation is, in my opinion, Disney could open the Skyliner the day those massive Galaxy's Edge crowds show up if they wanted, but they won't, because it would be opening a new attraction without any major crowds testing, previews, or soft openings. It would be a dry opening, which is not something Disney does. It's something Universal would do, and then it would end up being a whole big thing, an absolute mess, like what happened the opening month with the Hagrid coaster in Universal Orlando, where there are all sorts of loading issues, malfunctions with the ride itself. You have to give these things time to make them run smooth, efficiently, work out any tech issues, and Disney is exceptional in this department. Case in point, you might be seeing some Walt Disney World Galaxy's Edge photos and video floating around right now, because as we first broke last week and told you about with the Galaxy's Edge opening calendar, we are now in the cast member preview stage, and cast members can also invite other people to go with them, other guests, and actually experience this land and see everything there is to see. The land already looks almost perfect, and the craziest thing is the attraction in the land, Smuggler's Run, was being tested daily a week plus leading up to the start of these cast member previews, where now there'll be another 16 days of ride testing before the pass holder previews start, where there'll be more ride testing before the media previews start, and then finally, by the time the land opens to the public, all the cast members on this attraction will be pros at running it, loading it efficiently, dealing with any curveballs that might come their way. This is the Disney difference. So when it comes to the Skyliner, I see it as Disney thinks, okay, let's miss all that opening day and opening weekend insanity with Galaxy's Edge. As far as Skyliner operation goes, do lots of testing, loading the system with guests when we're in the middle of September, when they're in that lull crowds-wise, where they don't have to deal with any huge crowds. I'm willing to bet to you there'll be some major soft openings with this attraction prior to that official September 29th opening date. Disney needs to make sure everything's running well well when they have a full actual batch of guests going through the system. Word I've heard is Disney is paying cast members to spend all day just riding the Skyliner, switching between the stations, switching between the lines, like a whole 8-hour shift, so the cast members that are at each station can train and be able to load people as efficiently as possible, and Disney can get some insight into the cast members that are on the gondolas all day, what they think about it. We've talked about things like, is it going to be too hot on the Skyliner? What are the views going to be? These are things that those cast members will be able to report to Disney riding it all day. So that's going to be really good information. So by the time this thing opens at the end of September, it'll be running like a well-oiled machine. Also, keep in mind, late September, early October is as busy as how Galaxy's Edge will be opening week. You can still find cheap rooms for the Galaxy's Edge opening, but I was trying to find rooms for late September, early October with the Skyliner opening, the Illuminations finale, the premiere of Epcot Forever we'll be covering. We'll be covering all that action, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of that. But here's the thing, I could not find a good room that week on property. So that's why I'm going to see if I can grab an apartment in Orlando before all this goes down, because that week, if I stay on property, the cheapest that I can get that I want to be at is like something like the Grand Destino Tower. It's going to be like the cost of a month's rent just for like being there a week, you know, or less than a week, like 6 or 5 days. It is absolutely wild. Disney is very, very booked up late September, early October. So safe to say Disney opening the Skyliner just in time for those crowds late September. It's actually going to be just in time for the crowds this system was built to handle based on how booked up they appear to be as I was looking through the system yesterday. Also, I'm willing to bet a lot of guests that are going to be checking out Galaxy's Edge that week are going to want to hop over to Epcot to see the fireworks spectacular that week with Illuminations ending in the beginning of Epcot Forever. And once the fireworks are over in Epcot and you have 2 parks full of people in that one park, and then they all try to go back through that one Epcot Skyliner station that has a 100-foot ramp as its entire queue, that's when things are really going to be put to the test as far as what this system will be capable of. But in the morning, afternoon, and early evenings, I think with all the testing Disney's doing with people riding the gondolas starting over a month before the opening, by the time the Disney Skyliner is an option available to guests, it'll be running very, very smoothly. Let me know what you guys think. Also in Walt Disney World this week, this story is actually a little old now, but I'm proud to say we did break the first photos of the new character buses that debuted at the resort. We broke those online days before Disney's official announcement. We post a lot of cool behind-the-scenes stuff on our social media, so make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Mickey Views. This week, we found a photo online that someone had taken on Snapchat of the Galaxy's Edge transition tunnel from the Grand Avenue actually going in to Galaxy's Edge in Walt Disney World, which is really cool to see. Lots of fun stuff on our social media at Mickey Views, so make sure to check that out. Anyways, there are a bunch of new next-gen buses that have come to Walt Disney World. We posted the first photos of the new character wraps, and some people thought that they were old buses with new wraps. No, no, no. These are brand new buses with brand new wraps, and there are 6 wraps, the sensational 6, and they look awesome, but there is a huge fleet of these buses. It's not just those 6 buses. There's a bunch of them that are coming into the system to replace some of the very old buses. It's really great to see this investment by Disney. Inside these new buses, they have USB chargers between every seat. Also, word is there will be onboard Disney Wi-Fi available on these buses, which is so cool. I really like how these new buses look, not just the character wraps, which I do think look great. Some people said they didn't really like them. I personally do, especially the lines and how each of them are colored to match each character. I think they look really good. I think Disney did a really good job. But also those windows on these new buses that wrap seamlessly all the way around the bus. I think it looks so cool in next gen. Speaking of transportation upgrades, last up in the news today, this is another story that's from a few weeks ago, but I just have to talk about it. When I was in Disney in July, the day before I left, Monorail Silver came rolling out onto the Monorail line back from a refurbishment, and the inside caught a lot of people by surprise, because when the Monorail Silver came back from its refurbishment, it wasn't just the usual exterior repainting and they cleaned the inside of the cabins a little bit. No, it was a full reimagining of the interior of every monorail cabin on Monorail Silver. And a lot of people got very worried, if Disney's putting money into redoing the inside of these monorails, does that mean we aren't getting new monorails anytime soon? Well, here's my take. So firstly, the carpet above the seats. Disney changes that out pretty frequently when they service these monorails. Last time they switched it out on Silver, I believe, was 2016, where we got the retro Walt Disney World logo pattern carpet that people really liked a lot at the time. I think it looks really cool. And now we have another update to the carpet, another new carpet, this time with that beautiful Epcot / Walt Disney World monorail system font, spelling out Monorail Silver in that gray silver color. I'm assuming if they do this update to any of the other monorails, the carpet will reflect the stripe that's on the outside, so each one will be a different color, which which is a really cool detail. So that I don't think really indicates anything because that carpet gets dirty pretty often, so Disney switches it out pretty often. But the new seats, I'm not going to lie, those got me a little concerned because new seats installed on this monorail says to me it's not leaving anytime soon. For Disney to make that sort of investment, and actually put new seats throughout the entire monorail, that really says Disney does not expect this monorail to be going anywhere anytime soon. But here's the thing. Let's say Disney was building a new fleet for Walt Disney World, which based on the age of these current monorails seems like it's very likely. Like it's definitely something that Disney has to at least be talking about, if not more. You know, Bob Gurr last year, Disney Legend, was like, hey, you know, Disney's talking with Bombardier, monorail manufacturer, about new trains for Walt Disney World. The first monorail, if Disney had a manufacturer start today, likely it wouldn't be ready to be installed on the line till the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World in October of 2021. I think that'd be a great time to unveil the new Mark 8 monorail design. It'd be such an amazing moment to have a sheet over the monorail and it's on the beam and then you pull it down in front of the Magic Kingdom. It would just be such a cool reveal. But the thing is, switching out the whole monorail fleet after that, after the 50th anniversary, it would take about 2 years from the time the first was installed, the first monorail, to actually install all the rest of them and remove all the old ones. It would take about 2 years factoring in manufacturing each of those monorails. So if Disney is indeed building new monorails for Walt Disney World, the last current monorail wouldn't be removed from the system till 2023 at the earliest. Likely we'd be looking at 2024, 2025. So even if Disney is building new monorails or planning on building new monorails, leaving the current ones in a terribly worn state interior-wise doesn't make any fiscal sense, given some of those monorails currently on the track are going to need to run at least another 5 years. And these monorails are already 10 years past the length of time they were built to last in the first place. So to keep them going that long, keep them looking good enough to be worthy of those massive prices, those massive room rates deluxe hotel guests pay for, Disney really has no choice but to do upgrades like this to at least part of the system. That said, I think if Disney is putting their focus on making sure a certain percentage of the monorails are future-proof for another 5 years, not all of them actually will need to last that long if there are new ones on the way. So ones with more serious maintenance issues, they could just let those be, keep running those on the track, and then those will be the first ones to be replaced and likely won't need the treatment that Monorail Silver has received. Disney, please build new monorails. As a monorail fan, I'm so jealous seeing the love Disney has put into this new Skyliner system, which I'm really excited to see open. Be sure to subscribe with that notification bell on so you don't miss any of the news on the way with the D23 Expo. It sounds like there are some big announcements on the way. Thank you so much for watching. From the Mickey Views Magic Studio, I'm Braden Holness. Have a magical day.